So how is the White House dealing with all of this impeachment talk? There's some leaks, there's always leaks. And so we're getting an idea of how they're reacting to this. We also know way out in front of that how Donald Trump is reacting because he has been tweeting nonstop about this. A perfectly normal tweet, all caps, "It was a perfect conversation with Ukraine president." That's the whole tweet, all caps.
That sounds like it's translated from Ukrainian.
That's true, yes. No, like you translate it to Ukrainian and back. You did that 10 times. There were quotation marks around it. Who is he quoting? Himself, presumably.
Like, this guy is such a nightmare.
He is.
Like that, yeah. That is not a perfect conversation with the Ukraine president. A perfect conversation with the Ukraine president is like he tells you some kind of awesome secret and you're having a good time, and like he tells you like a recipe for the perfect version of like chicken Kiev.
That would be good, yeah. And look, obviously to some extent, I'm showing you that tweet because it's fun. The other is, there is this idea out there that the Dems have walked into his trap.
No.
So we have to evaluate the evidence. Is this a person who has sprung a trap on his greatest political foes? It was a perfect conversation with the Ukrainian president. Maybe that's consistent, but it doesn't seem to be to me.
It doesn't make any sense because a lot of people try to point to like this idea that the Republican impeachment of Clinton backfired on them, but no, they did better in the next election afterwards.
Exactly.
Like it's not true that impeachment backfires. And that's exactly what Trump would say in this situation. And forget about what he says. Just everything that he has done has just incriminated himself. Like he admitted to a crime and then gave us proof of the crime. And while this is all unfolding, and as we talk about like the subtle nuances of this and the breaking news that develops after, just remember, the president has committed a crime and the president has admitted to it. Yes. The law says you cannot solicit a thing of value from a foreign actor. And that's precisely what he does pretty much 8 times in a phone call that we have like the visual written proof of.
Yeah,
so
that he provided, not the whistleblower.
That he said here, he solicits a thing of value for his campaign. And then we'll get through all the ways that the White House is defending it. And each one is so laughably ridiculous. Like when I watch a lot of cable news and people are from the Republican side start giving their arguments, frequently there's a time where I'm like, dang, that's gonna win people over. It's stupid, but it'll win people over. I haven't had that moment yet.
Oh, well, buckle up. Because it's coming right now. I'm gonna skip the next 2 tweets. He basically says he wants Adam Schiff to resign from Congress. Get in line, buddy. But anyway, no, so he has a new argument that's gonna win people over. He says, to show you how dishonest the lamestream media is, I use the word little, not little, in describing, incorrectly spelled, corrupt Congressman Little Adam Schiff. Low rating CNN purposefully took the hyphen out, Instead I spelled the word little wrong. A small but never ending situation with CNN. It's a small but never ending situation, but not with CNN. You are crazy.
That was nuts. That didn't make any sense.
Here's the thing, that's nuts, but we will go crazy if we dwell on it. So let's move to the insider accounts of the White House, and we'll let the country deal with the fact that he both doesn't know what a hyphen is, and also that that's how he speaks about people.
See that you do.
So anyway, this is according to NBC News. One source familiar with the situation described the sense of total panic over the past week at the lack of a plan to address the new reality. Again, factor that into your evaluation of whether this was a trap carefully sprung, that they have no plan for what happens now. Also, there appears to be a rising, quote, anxiety, unease, and concern, as one person close to the White House described the mood in the West Wing, that the whistleblower's allegations could seriously wound the president and some of those around him. Quote, there's not a lot of confidence that there's no there. And I always love getting the official White House talking points and then getting literally the points they're talking about days afterward.
Right, exactly.
They don't always line up.
It's so simple. Like there was a crime. Now the whistleblower report says that there is essentially a cover up, that they knew that what they were doing was wrong. They went and tried to hide, and not just this, but multiple phone calls on a server. But precisely like people wonder, oh, you just hate the president. Oh, you guys just hate the president, you'll find anything. It's like, no, the reason, yes, I do severely dislike this president, but the reason I don't want him in charge of stuff is precisely things like this.
Yes.
It's the mental state of a child saying, like, not even going back in that little tweet that we just heard, but just the idea that, like, one of the defenses that the Trump team is trotting out is, and this happened on CNN multiple times yesterday with Republicans saying, hey, what's wrong with the president calling someone in Ukraine to root out corruption? That's their line, root out corruption. And then there was another person who said, oh, anything could be a thing of value if you're a politician, because everything you do makes it more or less likely that you'll get elected. But
some things more directly so.
But that's the difference, is like the fundamental premise of democratic representation is I do things that are good for the public, for the voters. And what I get back in return is their vote. But that's what democracy is. That is the representative representing the people. In this situation, Trump is he's not soliciting things that benefit the voters. He's in asking to investigate his political opponent, he's asking for stuff that benefits him personally. One is the fundamental premise of democracy, what I described before, and the other is the fundamental premise of corruption. And corruption is using your position of power to benefit you.
Yourself.
And when it comes to whether this is a crime, is there a quid pro quo? Incidentally, yes, there is a crime. This is a crime. But for impeachment to happen, it doesn't need to be a crime.
According to Lindsey Graham.
According to Lindsey Graham himself, with whom I agree. Because we just went through a whole probe where we can't crime a president. Like the fundamental premise of that, we can't crime Trump. So we come back to the thing I said at the beginning of this, which is the reason I don't want Trump to be president is because he does stuff like this. Whether he knew this was a crime, that's another thing. Is like, essentially the president's an idiot. He doesn't know what the law is. He's ignorant at the very best. But okay, fine. I don't need him to know it was a crime or not.
But he definitely does.
He definitely does.
I mean, first of all, he got one free already, and that call came within like a couple of days of Robert Mueller's testimony. It was sort of in the news at the time, this whole idea of using the assistance of a foreign power to help you in your election. He should have been able to hold on to that knowledge for 72 hours.
He should have been able to hold on to that knowledge. But even if it's the case that he just didn't learn that, and that's just Trump being Trump. The reason we have these laws that you can't solicit a thing of value from a foreign actor is because we don't, for your campaign, is that we don't want corrupt behavior. And Trump is corrupt behavior. So whether he had the mens rea, as it called, like the intent essentially to commit a crime or not, he has the mens diarrhea of just being an idiot, and he will do stuff like this. And people try to protect him, the White House tries to protect him. And
I just love that we've been working to that for 10 minutes or so now. I like it though.
I just came up with it on the spot.
We're tweeting that.
But men's diarrhea, good.
That's pretty good, that's pretty good. Thank you for watching this clip from the Damage Report. For more content from the show and access to TYT Network members-only exclusives, go to tyt.com/Brooke. Wait, no, it's tyt.com/John. Go to tyt.com/John to sign up.